Hello everyone, so here we are today for the unboxing and quick review of the FoMaKo 4K video switcher. This is an upgrade from their previous model. This model number is the KC800. Along with that, I have their PTZ camera, which is what you're seeing me on right now. It is the model number K20UH, and the quality of the video is absolutely amazing. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. This is the box. It comes with the user manual first of all. Now the aim of this video is not to do a deep dive, but rather to see how we can get up and running in as little time as possible. First we have the power adapter here, which we can see. This one is a USB, this is a USB-C to USB-A. Then we remove some protective coverings. And then gently, wow, this thing is heavy. It is a lot. It's very sturdy. It's almost feels like it's all metal. It is metal, and it's a lot heavier than its predecessor. I will tell you that much. So starting from the left here, first we have the power on-off switch, the barrel adapter for the 12-volt power supply, which comes in the packaging. We have the Ethernet port. This has multiple functions. You will need this in order to get internet access if you are looking to stream directly from this device, or if you need to make some of the configuration changes for the switcher. You can access the web interface through this port if you connect it to a PC through a router. Next port up is the UVC port. This port allows you to use the output from the switcher as a webcam input for, say, OBS, or if you are streaming using something like YOLO Box, you can directly use this port and plug into a device that supports that input. Then you have the 4 HDMI inputs, which all support 4K 60 frames per second. That's right. All 4 ports support 4K 60 frames per second input. There's very few switches in this price range out there that will do that have this functionality, but this one does. Very impressive. Then you have the HDMI loop in 1, which basically means for anything that you have plugged into HDMI 1, you get a direct loop out. So you may want to put some thought into how which port you want to connect which camera into, because you will have the option to get the loop out for the HDMI in 1, and it will be the same resolution that's going in. So if you're putting in 4K 60, you're able to get 4K 60 out. Next port down is the USB port, which is for recording. You have the option of plugging in a USB flash drive, or I would rather recommend having a minimum of an SSD connected to this port, and you can record your entire event, anything, whatever it is that you are streaming. You have the option of recording that live and having a master first draft edit ready to go at the end of the event. I would like to mention here though, the recording is not going to be in 4K. If that is something that you were looking forward to, unfortunately that is not an option. The output is only going to be a maximum of 1080 HD. Then you have your 2 HDMI outputs. One is for the program, the final output that is, and the other one is for the multi-view. So that's very, very important for me. I like to be able to see on dedicated screens what my multi-view looks like and what I'm programming out right now, or what I'm streaming out right now. Some of the switches will only give you one port, and you have to pick between whether you want the programming out or whether you want the multi-view out in that HDMI. But in this one you get 2 dedicated ports, so that's, for me, that is very, very important. Moving on, we have a few of the audio options over here. We'll continue going here. So the first one we see here is line out through a 3.5 mm TRRS jack. The one below that is a mic or line in. You can adjust whether it's mic or line in the menu, which I'll show you later. XLR1 and XLR2, these are actually combo jacks, which means you can plug in your XLR ports for input as well as a 1/4 inch. The next port on the side is for monitoring, and again there is an option in the menu where you can check if you are monitoring the master out audio or you are checking the audio for a specific input. We will take a look at that as well later on. And then same as mic in 2, you also have the line in or mic in 1. So looking now in the front, we see the top-down view here. We see a few of the knobs with functions for RB gain related to white balance, your exposure, whether it's iris, shutter or ISO. Then you have focus in case you're doing manual focus for whatever reason. And then you have the options to zoom the PTZ camera using this button here. But all of these functions can, like this function specifically, can also be done using this 4D joystick, which is very exciting. So not only are you getting a world-class production grade 4K 4-input switcher, but you're also getting an inbuilt PTZ controller. Imagine that. So you don't have to have two separate devices, one for just controlling the PTZ camera and the other doing your switching. You can do it all in one. If it sounds complicated, I can tell you for sure that it's not. We'll go through the workings of the switcher and I will demonstrate how easy it is to use this little device. And you have the little T-bar, more of a slider here. Then you have the volume also. You have the volume right here, and then you have this dial here that helps you navigating the menu when you're in it. One more thing I wanted to mention here, this SD card slot built right into the video switcher, but it will also give you the option to save the video in the SD card that's plugged in. So a wee bit smaller and just a little bit heavier this new one is. The old one weighed around 1200 grams and the new one weighs just under 1600, I should say. It's like 1560.